Hi, everybody, and welcome to Principles of Marketing here at Tennessee Tech. My name is Matthew Harrison, and I will be your instructor for the summer 2019 semester. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I know that although this is a 100% online class where you never have to come to campus, you are never required to actually sit in a lecture hall and hear any information being shared with you. I do like to create these weekly YouTube videos just so you can kind of have an idea for what to expect with the course. That way you can sort of hear, and some people are auditory learners, so I always try to give you this opportunity so that you can hear the lecture and hear a lot of those things that you would normally experience in a real face-to-face classroom. So I just want to take a moment to go over the syllabus with you, make sure you kind of know my expectations for the course, and hopefully answer any questions that you may have on the front end. So first of all, I've given you my email address here. It is mtharrison@tntech.edu. If you need to get in touch with me, that is usually the quickest and fastest way. I do prefer that you use the Tennessee Tech email as opposed to the iLearn email. I typically try to respond to my emails within 24 to 48 hours, usually closer to the 24-hour side or less. And it's just more convenient and a little bit quicker for me to respond if you use the tech email. So I would prefer that you do that. Of course, if you have a lot of questions, I'd always be glad to set up a phone interview with you as well, or a Skype interview, but typically we're able to do most things via email. So feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions there. As far as the book goes for the course, I did send out an email a little earlier with textbook information. This is the book that we're going to be using. It is Gruel and Levy, the 2017 version. It has the chocolate strawberry there on the front, which will make you hungry all semester, I promise, especially given that it's summertime and strawberry season. So sorry about that. People always ask me, well, do I have to purchase this in the bookstore? No, you don't. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Chegg, you may rent it. Whatever you would like to do is perfectly fine. You don't need any kind of access codes or anything like that, just the textbook. And I've included the ISBN number for you here, so you can plop that into Google, and it should give you lots of places where you can purchase the book. You can rent them online right now. I'm thinking for like $25 or $30. So not terribly expensive. You can see how you'll be graded throughout the course here with course evaluation. You do have some weekly quizzes, and those quizzes are mostly just designed to make sure that you've been listening to the weekly video lectures, that you've been reading the chapter each week, and that you can apply the terminology and the concepts that you need to know to progress. The quizzes are cumulative in nature, so if you'll take your quiz this first week on chapters 1 and 5, and then next week you'll take a quiz on chapter 4. The quiz on chapter 4 will include topics from chapters 1, 5, and 4. The next week, you'll go into chapter 6 and 7, and that'll include information from chapters 1, 5, 4, 6, and 7. And it just keeps building on one another to make sure that you are retaining that important information. So should not be a problem there. If you're listening and paying attention, should be pretty easy. You have 3 types of major assignments in the course. There are marketing application responses, discussion boards, and case studies. The requirements for each of these 3 assignments are the same, although the topics are obviously very different. For all of these assignments, I do require you to include 2 chapter concepts or key terms from your textbook, and at the end of each chapter you will see a page that says key terms where those are clearly listed. You're required to use at least 2, but you're more than welcome to use more than that if you'd like. So in every submission, you need those 2 chapter concepts, and you also need 2 external sources. Those are usually scholarly sources from Google Scholar or the library database website. But those can easily be found online, just something to support your claim that you're making for the week. So I'm hopeful to see those from you every week, the 2 chapter concepts and the 2 external sources. For marketing application responses, you'll see a series of usually 4 to 10 questions, just asking you to think critically and apply what we've been discussing this week in marketing. Your discussion boards are the same, except they're usually a little more open-ended, and they do allow you the opportunity to speak with your classmates, read each other's thoughts, and you are required to make at least 2 replies to classmates. I do require that those replies please be meaningful. Cool story, bro, or I totally agree, doesn't usually cut it with those. Make sure that your replies, just like your original post, also reference your chapter concepts clearly and that you are providing something meaningful in response to your classmates. And then you also see your case studies. The case studies are my favorite. They're pretty exciting. I've given you some kind of interesting topic. Like one of the things we'll talk about this semester is Dunkin' Donuts versus Starbucks if you're a big coffee connoisseur. And there's an ethics case study about parenting and ethics and marketing. And I find that people usually enjoy those. They're more controversial topics typically and give you an opportunity also to provide your opinion, but also support your opinion using chapter concepts and external sources. So pretty exciting there. And then finally, you have a final exam. The final exam is a departmental exam. So I did not make all of the questions personally. It is a common exam that everyone enrolled in Principles of Marketing this semester at Tennessee Tech will take. So those weekly quizzes, those cumulative questions should help prepare you for that. And of course, if you're paying attention and doing your assignments every week, it should be an easy A for you. So I've given you a summary of all these things here that I just said. So if you would like to go back through and read over that, you're welcome to. Those are all there for you. I do like for you to save your submissions as a PDF if possible. I've just had a lot of issues with students in the past. Some people have MacBooks, other people have like a Dell computer, and the PDF is just a common file source that if you're submitting it each week should not be a problem in terms of reading it or making sure that the content is consistent. So if you're unsure of how to save as a PDF, I've included instructions in the content tab of iLearn, and I'll show you those in just a second. We talked about scholarly sources earlier. If you are unsure of how to find a scholarly source or how that works, I have included some tutorials on those as well, and I've given you some examples of what constitutes a scholarly source and what does not. I do like for you to use APA format with all of your submissions, and if you're not familiar with APA or if you've never used that before, I do have some tutorials on those as well and some examples for you too, and I'll show you all those in just a moment. As we continue forward, I do want to stress that this course is very abbreviated for the summer. So during a traditional 16-week semester, students usually only read about 1 chapter a week and have 1 quiz and one assignment to do. You guys are here where we have scrunched 16 weeks into only 8 weeks and a final exam. So whereas a normal student may spend anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a week working on his or her assignments, for you guys, I would recommend that you devote, I would say, around 20 hours a week. That sounds like a lot, but when you consider that you have 2 chapters to read, 2 YouTube videos to watch, 2 quizzes, 2 or 3 assignments, it really does kind of add up. And I've tried my best to streamline the process and cut out anything that's not absolutely essential for your final and for you going forward in future marketing courses. So I'm hopeful that streamlining it will have helped you, but it may take you less than 20 hours, but I always just say to allot that as a rule. A lot of people like to listen to the YouTube videos while they're driving, so that can kind of help a little bit and sort of preview the chapter that way, and then you can go back through and read it again and before you do your assignment. Sometimes that's helpful. Okay, and then at the end of our syllabus here, you can just see a tentative course schedule. I always like to have this as a student. I was the kind of person, I went through and put all of these dates in my cell phone with reminders so I wouldn't forget anything. You can see each week it tells you what to do. So all of your assignments, everything you're supposed to do this week are listed here in these top 2 boxes. And I do send a weekly email out to you explaining what you should be doing and talking about it. But one of the first things you should be doing is familiarizing yourself with this syllabus. So you're already a step ahead if you're watching this video. You should also be ordering the textbook online, getting that here as soon as you can. There's a quiz on the syllabus that you'll need to take, and there's also a marketing pretest just to see how much you knew coming into the class. There's also an introductory discussion board I would like for you to complete just so that you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'll show you how to access all that in just a moment. But those are really the things that you need to worry about initially this week. If you can go ahead and get those done immediately, that'd be great. Go ahead and take your syllabus quiz, do your pretest, and complete your discussion board introducing yourself. Once you've done that, I'd like for you to read chapters 1 and 5 and watch the YouTube videos I've created for chapters 1 and 5 as well. There's also 2 supplementary videos you'll need to watch that are both really short, like 2 to 3 minutes. One on the 4Ps crash course and one on the marketing environment, which you're going to be reading about in chapters 1 and 5 anyway. After you've done all that, after you've read 1 and 5 and watched the YouTube videos, I would like for you to go ahead and take both quizzes on chapters 1 and chapter 5. And then there's a discussion board for chapters 1 and 5 as well, where you'll need to answer a few questions and reply to 2 classmates in a meaningful way. Because I know that many of you guys are still getting your textbooks, I have extended the deadline for those things that require the reading to next Sunday, the 16th of June. So that's the end of the second week of the class. So you do have a little bit of extra time there, but I do encourage you not to procrastinate, okay? This is not a course where if you wait until Sunday night or even Sunday morning to start your assignments or start reading or listening to the YouTube videos, it's very, very easy to get behind very, very quickly. So I always hate when I have to take off points because someone's turning something late. So please make sure that you are staying up to date with those assignments and reading and listening to the videos accordingly. Okay, so, but you do have a little bit extra time that first week on those things because I know you're getting your book. So if you're the kind of person who likes to work ahead, you will love this because it's laid out here for you. You can see, let's say I've already got my book, first day, I've done my syllabus quiz, my pretest, and my discussion board. On Tuesday, I go ahead and read chapters 1 and 5. On Wednesday, I watch the YouTube videos. And by Thursday, I've knocked out all the assignments and the quizzes, and I want to go ahead and get started for next week. Well, you can go ahead and look down and see what's coming up the next week and start reading and watching those videos and, going ahead and working ahead for the next week. So I know that it's summertime and you guys probably have vacations planned. So if you want to work ahead, I have absolutely no issues with you doing that. Okay, but it will fly by. It sounds like a lot, but 8 weeks goes by really, really fast. So please make sure that you are keeping up with that stuff. So that's kind of the syllabus there in a nutshell. I do want to introduce you to our course. So when you log into iLearn here on the Tennessee Tech website, you'll see our course, Marketing 3400-500, and that's here for you under Summer. You can click on that. When you do, it takes you to our course homepage. I do list all announcements here with anything that you have to do here. So you'll see at the bottom, there is a welcome statement here, welcoming you, telling you to read the syllabus, and it attaches it for you here. If you're nervous about how to submit assignments, it tells you a little bit about the course structure, APA formatting, where to find those scholarly sources. I also did make a template for submission for you. So if you're worried about how to format things, it's organized here for you in a template format. So you can kind of see, it just helps to make sure that you're not going to forget anything. It shows you there's a spot for your 2 chapter concepts, there's a spot for your 2 external sources, and it just kind of conveniently organizes it for you. My computer is being a little bit slow here, unfortunately. I apologize for that. Let's see if I click on it this way if it helps. But anyway, the submission template is just there to help you. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. It's just there to remind you of those requirements for the 2 chapter concepts and the 2 external sources each week. So don't feel like you have to use the template. It's just there to help organize your thoughts, and eventually it'll load here. But anyway, those are here for you. If you'd like to see those, they're all organized in the content section. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to download it because that might be quicker. Here we go. So this is your submission template. There's just a spot for your name, the title of your assignment, so, you know, week 1 discussion or whatever, and then the date. There's a spot for the key term that you're using, and then a spot at the end for your references. Make sure you use your parenthetical citations and whatnot as well. People always also like to see a completed template to see what my final product should look like. So I do have an example of that for you as well, and I'll just go ahead and download that. Okay, so here's a submission from a previous student. You can kind of see they have underlined their chapter concepts. They used more than 2, and that's perfectly okay, even better. So they've got their chapter concepts underlined. They've used their parenthetical citations here to show me their external sources, and then here at the end they have their references in APA format. So those are there for you. If you go back to our course homepage, you can go up under course materials to content, and this is probably the part of the D2L site you're going to be using the most. And there are several tabs over here to the left. So under general course information, you have our syllabus, you have those submission templates, and down here you have everything you need to know about APA formatting. There is a cheat sheet, there's a link to the library database, there's a link to a couple scholarly sources, the Journal of Marketing, the Journal of Business Research, the American Marketing Association. There's a sample APA format paper for you there that we just looked at. So that's all here for you if you need it. And then here are those PDF saving instructions if you need help doing that. I told you about earlier as well. Okay. You'll see that our course is organized by week. It tells you exactly what you have to do each week. So of course coming up we have week 1, and it loads week 1 here with your 2 video lectures you need to watch for chapters 1 and 5 after you've read those. There's a Quizlet that I encourage you to interact with. Great for studying for those quizzes. Those are there. Here's a link to your syllabus quiz, your introductory discussion, and your pretest. You also have links to your Chapter 1 quiz, Chapter 5 quiz, and your discussion board that's due this week, and those 2 supplemental videos. So they're all hyperlinked. You can click on those at any time, and they are organized here in checklist format. Here's the cool thing. As you complete one of those, oh, it kicked me out. Let me go back, sorry. As you complete one of those things on week 1, like let's say that I go ahead and I watch the Chapter 1 lecture video, and I go ahead and, watch this video or whatnot, it will go back under week 1 and check it off, and it shows you that you've completed that. You've got 16.67% done. Let's say I go and I access the Chapter 1 Quizlet, and I go and play around with all these and the flashcard functions. When I go back, it's going to check that off, that I've completed that, and now it updates, oh hey, I'm 25% done. So that just helps to keep you organized and pace yourself a little bit as to what to expect. So hopefully that will help you. Okay. Of course, over here under grades, you can see your grades for the class. So as you complete something, the quizzes will automatically grade themselves, except for a couple that have short answer questions, and I'll grade those. But you'll see your grades updated here. Same thing for your discussions, your marketing application responses, and your final and your case studies. After I've graded something, over here I'll pop up a little button you can click on, and you can read my feedback that I leave for you. I do actually genuinely read every word you guys write, and I do leave you some detailed feedback, so that will be there. And of course, on our course homepage as well, you can see I always give you a list of everything you have to do written out for you here. I link to that checklist screen that we just saw. I include the videos, and then I always throw in some motivational quotes as well because I like quotes. People always ask me, well, when is stuff due? I always send you your weekly email, and everything opens on Monday. It is due by Sunday at the end of the week. So for this first week, you can see everything opens on June 3rd and closes on June 9th at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. So those are all listed for you here. And I know at first all this can seem a little bit overwhelming, so that's why I give you the video. Please take a moment to read through all of these things. That's why I write them out for you, so I don't expect you to remember everything that I've said. You can go back and replay the video. You can listen to it again. That's why it's all here. But I hope this has been helpful to you. And of course, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time via email, mtharrison@tennesseetech.edu. Have a great day, everybody, and I hope you have a great summer.